Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of our online fitness program at Valle Verde. Today we're going to focus on balance, some core stability, and a little bit of posture. So all you'll need is a chair to assist you, and then of course, have your water bottle handy in case you need to get a quick drink of water or take a break. So let's get right into it. We're going to work on our balance. So this is pretty much going to be standing for most of the stuff. We are going to do some seated stuff towards the end, and that'll be mostly for our core. So standing, using your chair, I recommend that you do this every morning just to get your day going. So what you want to do is stand behind your chair and focus on balancing on one leg. Okay, so let's focus on that for now. Let's just focus on your balance. If you can remove your hands, great. If not, hold on with two. Or perhaps you're holding on with one. And you're just alternating. Hands. Back and forth. You really need to think about your core. Now when I say think about your core, you want to suck in your belly button. So what you're trying to do is shorten the distance between your belly button and your spine. Right? So you're trying to bridge the gap between your belly button and spine, coming in together. Obviously your spine can't move, but you can suck in your stomach. And just by thinking about sucking in the stomach, you're activating your core. So keep your posture tall, always working on your posture, right? Always trying to be tall. Stomach in. It helps with your balance. Switch legs. Same thing, start with two hands. If you can do no hands, great. If you need to do one at a time, no problem. Let's just focus on that. Do what you can. Again, shortening the distance between your belly button and your spine. Sucking in the stomach, trying to be tall. If it helps to have a focal point to stare at, then stare at something. It's okay, whatever you want. And again, trying to have a little bend in your knee. Focus on your balance. Keep your posture tall. Keep your core engaged. If it helps you to have your hand on your stomach to remind you to keep your core engaged, then go ahead and do that. But anytime you're working on some balancing or any exercise in general, think about your core. So we're going to go back to the other side. And now we're going to add some leg movement to the outside. So from a front view, you're going to swing that leg out to the side. So again, posture is tall, core is engaged, and raise. If you can do this without your hands, great. If not, hold on to the chair. Right? Obviously, I'm holding on to it with one, but for the sake of the video, I don't want to block your view, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm holding on with two hands, and I'm extending the leg out to the side. So you're actually getting a little bit of lateral movement, glutes, right? Obviously your core is working. The standing leg, the leg that you're balancing on is working. So a lot of things happening at the same time. All right, and then let's transition to the other leg. Same thing, reaching out to the side. Again, if you can do it without your hands, great. If not, no big deal. It just adds a challenge of balance if you're using your hands, or not using your hands, I should say. But if you don't feel comfortable releasing your hands from the chair, no big deal. Again, do what you can. It's all relative. Okay, remember a little bent knee in the standing leg. Tight tummy. Raise out to the side. Flex your core. Pull in the belly button. Perfect. Okay, so now the next one is we're extending the leg back. Again, working on the balance. For this one, you're going to want to hold on with two hands because you're going to lean forward a little, and we're just raising the leg backwards. So you're leaning forward slightly. Again, engaging your core. Always engaging your core. And as you lift that leg, squeeze the glute. The glute is your butt muscle, your bum. So lift, raise, and squeeze at the top. And again, that standing leg is really working and supporting you, supporting your weight as you move through this exercise. Switch sides, same thing. Think about the core, always, right? Pull the abs in. Keep that focus. Continue to think about your core. Nice and easy lifts. Do what you can. Again, squeezing the glute, the butt muscle, at the top. When you lift, squeeze. Lift and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. 2 more. And stop. Okay, so now the next one. We're going to start with a little alternating leg raise. So the challenge is bringing the knee up, right back down. Knee up, right back down. So for this one, obviously you can't really bring your knee up if you're holding onto the chair. I mean, you could, but obviously you're a little restricted in your range of motion. So if you feel like you really need the chair with 2 hands, this is your option, right? I mean, you could bring your knee up and then bring it in between your legs, or I'm sorry, in between your arms, but it does make it a little challenging depending on the chair or whatever it is you're using. If the surface that you're using for your hands is a little wider and taller, then you're able to come up this way perfectly fine. There's no problem there, right? But if you have a smaller chair like the one I have with some armrests, it might make it a little challenging. So again, make modifications as needed. Right? So ideally, we want to try to march in place, but bring the knees up. If you want an added challenge, you're not using the hands, right? But if you want a little extra, bring it up, hold it for 3, 2, 1, lower. If you're using your arm or hand, that's fine. Bring it up, hold it for 3, 2, 1, lower. Other leg, up, 1, 2, 3, down. Up with the other leg, 1, 2, 3, down. Up again, and come down. Up again, thinking about your core. Pulling in the stomach, sucking in the belly button, in towards your spine, but still keeping that tall, straight torso and posture. And then come down, other leg. Again, if you need your hand or a little support, use it. It's all relative based on your strength and ability and your balance, of course. So do what you can, make modifications. There's something for everyone. Right? So make it work, figure it out, you can do it. One more time. We're going to go for a little longer hold on this one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1 3/4. Oh no, that's the wrong direction. 1 2/4, or 1 1/4, 3/4, 2/3, 1/8, 1/16. I'm just kidding. Other side. 10 seconds. Here we go. Maybe a little longer. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. How about we rub your belly and pat your head at the same time? Now we're really having to multitask. Yes? No? Maybe? Or maybe you're holding on and you're rubbing your belly. Even this, you're multitasking. Having one leg forward, rubbing the belly. Trying to make it fun. Spice things up. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Easy on the way down. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to do some stepping lunges. Again, this is going to challenge your balance. You step forward, bend the knee, push off and come back. A little side view. Step forward, bend the knee. If you need to grab the chair as you step forward, totally fine. Push off, and now you don't really need the chair. Step forward, grab the chair if you need assistance, and come back. And so we're switching legs every time. Think about your core. And so you're changing the way you're moving in the sense of how you're coming forward with your leg. It's not just a normal step. You are bending the knee, bending the back knee, and your back heel is lifting off the ground. So you're really fairly unstable, really. So it's really up to you to think about your body, be aware of your body, and suck in the core. Be mindful of your lower body strength and stability. And you know your body best. You know if you need assistance on this move or not. So you make modifications as needed. Right? Little bend in that front knee, bend in the back knee, pick up that back heel if you can, and you're just going back and forth. Again, if you don't need the chair, you don't have to use the chair, but just a little balancing act for you. A couple more. Let's do 2 more on each leg. 1 and 2 and 2. Perfect. So now we're going to do some calf raises. So this makes your stability very challenging because now I want you to hold on to a chair on this one because you're coming up onto the toes and raising the heels. So come down, raise. So this is really challenging your stability, right? You could attempt to do this without your hands. It's up to you. If you want to, you can, but the tendency is to kind of go forward and fall forward when you lift up, so it could potentially put you in harm's way. So I don't really think it's necessary to do this exercise without your hands. I just like doing the calf raise to help your lower body strength and your ankle and foot stability. So ankle is a very complicated joint in the body, and it can move a lot, and it has a lot of stabilizing parts to it. The foot, the ankle, it's got a lot of working parts, and it's very important for obviously walking. So it's good to have strong calves and strong ankles, strong foot, right? So it's good to work on these. If you want to do no hands, you can. Just be aware, right? If you're noticing that you're really going forward quite a bit, it's not necessary. But I want you to work your calves, so just continue to keep working with me. Heels up, heels down, heels up, heels down. Keep working. You should be feeling a pretty good burn in the back of your lower leg, the calves. Keep working it. Almost there. And that's good for right there. Okay, so now we're going to work on a little lateral stability. So I'll give you a front view, and you're going to have to kind of see, look behind the chair, obviously, because it's kind of hard to see my legs. So I'm going to step to the side, bend the knee, come in together, go to the other side, bend the knee, come in together. So if you need the chair, you're holding onto it, and you're doing a little side step, and a tiny little squat or a little bend in the landing leg. So whatever leg is stepping outside, that is the leg that's bending and absorbing your weight, right? Because you don't want to land stiff leg, right? And the impact is very substantial on your joints. So we want to absorb the landing. Kind of like shock absorbers in your car. You're minimizing that impact that you feel when you drive. If you go over a big bump, right? That's what you're trying to think about here. When you come down, you're absorbing. It's a smooth landing. So if you're not using your hands, here's what it looks like. I'm just sidestepping. So we're moving laterally. So it's a little agility, but still balance. Because for that brief moment, guess what? Your foot's off the ground to step to the side. And anytime you're on one leg, you are automatically working on your balance, especially when you walk. People don't think about it that much, But walking entails a lot of balance, because for that brief moment, as you're walking forward, your foot is temporarily off the floor. So again, anytime your foot is off the ground, you're working on your balance. All right, here we go, moving on. Core. We're almost done. Again, this is just a simple little routine for you to do in the morning. Get you going. Core. No body or no weight necessary, just your body weight. And so here's what you're going to do. You're going to get close to the edge of your chair. For those of you who have been coming to my class for quite some time, you know what's coming. Legs are out. You're sitting close to the edge of your chair, leaning back. And you can see how close I am to the chair without actually touching. My body looks pretty straight. Now bring your arms up. Hold it here. Engage your core. Pull the stomach muscles in. Belly button in. All right, suck in that belly button. Keep your arms up. Legs. Bring those legs up as you're leaning back. Keep that upper back close to the chair, right, but not resting on the chair, right? Engage your core. If you have difficulty bringing the legs up, that's fine. Just stay here. Hold it here. This works as well. Right? So this is totally fine to do if you can't raise your leg. Or perhaps you can't raise your leg as high as I'm lifting mine. That's fine. What if you're just doing this? Guess what? Your leg is still coming off the floor. Right? And it means your core is still working, even if it's just a few inches off the ground. You're still working. And we are still working. Even though I'm talking, you can still see I'm moving, which means you at home, you better be moving. I know your core is working. I know you're getting a little fatigued. That's okay. Stay with me now. Let's do 5 more on each leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now hold out both legs. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Bravo. So now we're going to go into Russian twist. So your body's the same setup. Legs are out. You're leaning back. Hands are in close. You can even have your hands tight together against your chest. And think about rotating, twisting, and bringing your elbow to the back of your chair. So you're twisting. You're not leaning to the side. You are twisting to the side. Flexing those ab muscles. Still sucking in that core. Right? Still sucking in those abs. And rotate. 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 Keep going. Now we're going to add a little challenge. If this is challenging enough for you, you just continue to work with this move. And if you're ready for an extra challenge, you bring that leg up. So as I turn right, right leg comes up. As I turn left, left leg comes up. And I'm sure some of you are going to do it the opposite way, which is okay. We just need to learn our left from our right. And that's fine. And I'm only teasing. I'm only going based off what I've seen in class. It happens. So remember, turn right, right leg. Turn left, left leg. Turn right, right leg. Turn left, left leg. Turn right, right leg. Turn left, left leg. And keep going. Right, left. Turn right, right leg. Turn left, left leg. Turn right, right leg. Turn left, left leg. And keep it going. Keep it going. Stay with it. I know your core is getting tired. I'm sure those hip flexors in your hips are working and you're feeling it there. That's okay. Continue to think about your abs. All right? And it's okay if you're feeling it in your hip flexors. That means you need it. You need to strengthen those hip flexors if you're having trouble. Almost there. And one more and stop. Good job. We are almost done. So the next one is to help you when you're sitting down or maybe kind of in a reclined position. Again, sitting close to the edge of your chair, you're going to keep your legs straight and you're going to lean back, lightly touch the backrest of your chair, sit up, and come back down. So it's like a sit-up. The challenge is through the heels, keeping the heels grounded, because when you want to come up again, your heels want to lift off the floor. So your challenge is to keep the heels grounded as you sit up. And if you want an added challenge, then the arms stay above or perpendicular to the ground as you lean back and as you sit up. And continue to work on your core and keep those heels down. So this is a challenge. Flex that core. If you're having lower back issues, I should have said this earlier and I'm sorry that I didn't. If you're having lower back issues, don't lean back as far. And if you end up doing this video again, I hope you remember that cue, because it just slipped my mind, I'm sorry. So remember, if your back is bothering you, as you recline, stop a little early and then come up, right? Maybe don't have your arms above your head. You bring it down, stop a little earlier. It's a shorter range of motion, and then up. So short range of motion if it's hurting your back, and if it's not hurting your back, then go as far back as you can. And if you really can do that pretty easily, then add the arms into it, or continue with it since you've been doing it this whole time. Almost there. Still working on that core. And stop. Okay, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is your posture. So find some wall space. For me, I'm going to use this door. You're going to get your heels against the door or wall, wherever you are. Heels, your bum, your glutes, shoulder blades. And when you think about your shoulder blades, you also want to think about bringing your shoulders back. So I'll give you a back view. So when you're here, most of us tend to be like this. When you think about your posture, I always tell people, stand tall. So standing tall would be shoulders back, looking up, and your chest is elevated. So you can see how my shoulders went back, away from the front part of my body, and my shoulder blades are pinched together. And my core is engaged. So you're thinking about doing that against the wall. So you're here, shoulders back, core engaged. And this is the posture that you want to practice as much as possible. Don't worry about the head. Usually you want to get the head there. But the cervical flexibility for most people is pretty difficult. It's hard for most of us. So don't worry about the head being back. Just focus on the heels, the glutes, and the shoulders being retracted, and then also being against the door or the wall. Engage your core, suck in the stomach, and keep your shoulders back. And then just step away from the wall and practice shoulders back. Imagine that door followed you and it's still against your body. How would that feel? Core, 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 shoulders back, posture's tall, tight tummy, stay there. Right. So that's what you're thinking about. So when I see you around campus, this is if I see you around campus, that's assuming that I do see you in the next couple weeks. But if I do see you and you see me, you better just straighten up, stand at attention, and walk like a robot. Very stiff, like a robot. Food for thought, it helps to keep that tall posture and core engaged as you're walking around campus, because as we all know, falls do happen, and it's always good to be prepared with a strong core and a good posture. If you're leaning forward and you get tripped up for whatever reason, it does promote that forward leaning or throwing your center of gravity forward and throwing you off balance. So again, always walk tall, keep your head up and chin up, right? Chest out, shoulders back, tight tummy, and imagine that wall is always attached to your back and you're having to keep that straight posture. To the best of your ability, of course, I know it's a little difficult.